What if I told you the Earth hides a secret in plain sight? Not in code, not in myth, but in stone, silence, and symmetry. You've seen the photos, those giant heads on Easter Island. But what if they're not just statues? What if they're sentinels? Look closer. They don't face the ocean. They stare inland, towards something hidden. And there are nearly 900 of them, carved by hand, moved without wheels, with tools of stone and rope on an island smaller than Los Angeles. Now ask yourself, why here? Why in the most isolated spot on Earth? Over 2,000 miles from the nearest continent, no neighbors, no trade routes. Yet they built monuments that weigh up to 80 tons. How? And more importantly, what were they trying to protect? Because that's what guardians do. They don't welcome, they warn. Now, let's pull back, zoom out from Rapa Nui. Look at the globe, find its exact opposite, its antipode. You land in the Himalayas near Mount Kailash, sacred to 4 religions. A place where compasses fail, where pilgrims speak of energy vortices. Same magnetic chaos, same sense of the forbiddance. And now draw a line to Bermuda, the third point of this invisible triangle. Bermuda, Himalayas, Easter Island, not random, not coincidence. They form a near-perfect triangle, spanning half the planet. Each zone shares the same anomalies. Vanished ships, distorted time, silence. On Easter Island, birds fall silent near certain moai. In Bermuda, radios crackle static, in clear weather. In Tibet, monks chant to calm the Earth's pulse. You feel it too, don't you? That low hum in your bones when you see ancient stone. It's not imagination, it's resonance, and it's real. Satellites confirm it. All 3 zones emit strange EM fields. Not from power lines, not from cities, from deep underground or below the sea. Scientists call it geological noise, but locals call it the breath of the Earth. And they say, don't wake it. Now, let's talk about the moai eyes. You've seen them blank, hollow. But they weren't always empty. They were inlaid with white coral and red stone. When the sun hit them, they glowed like living eyes. Why give stone faces sight, unless they were meant to see something? And why place them on platforms, aligned with solstices and stars? This wasn't art, it was engineering, a grid of observation or containment. You're thinking, that's crazy, but stay with me, look at the evidence. In 2012, ground-penetrating radar revealed the moai have full bodies, buried up to their necks, carved with symbols no one can read. Spirals, waves, grids, identical to carvings in Tibet. How? There was no contact, no ships, no flight. Unless both cultures responded to the same signal from the Earth. A frequency only stone can carry, only silence can reveal. Now, let's visit the Rano Raraku quarry, where all moai were born. Hundreds lie unfinished, frozen in the rock. Why stop? The island didn't collapse until centuries later. What if they stopped because they heard it, the warning? Orion's belt, the Pleiades, the Southern Cross. Every ancient culture watched them, but Easter Island's moai face away from the sky. They face the ground, as if the real story is below. And here's the chilling part, the island sits on a seismic hotspot. But it's magnetically quiet, except under the Ahu platforms. There, the field spikes like a heartbeat in the stone. Bermuda has the same spike, so does the Valley of the Kings. Ancient builders knew. They didn't avoid these places. They built on them to harness or to hold back. You're not just watching history, you're standing at the edge of a live wire. Now, let's talk about collapse. The island's society fell. Deforestation, war, cannibalism, the textbooks say it was self-destruction. But oral history tells another story. They angered the stone gods. What if the moai weren't gods? What if they were batteries? Crystalline rock, basalt, quartz, all piezoelectric generate charge under pressure. Place them on fault lines and they hum with Earth's energy. Too much energy, and the system overloads. Silence falls, society breaks. Is that what happened? Did they tap into something too powerful? And if so, is it still there, waiting beneath your feet? Now, let's connect the dots globally. Easter Island, Giza, Angkor Wat. All sit on the same latitude band, all aligned with Orion. But more importantly, all sit on geomagnetic anomalies. It's as if ancient people were mapping Earth's nervous system. And Easter Island, it's the pacemaker. The most remote, yet most charged, the end and the beginning. You felt this before, in old churches, in caves, in forests. That sudden stillness, that sense you're being watched. It's not ghosts, it's the planet remembering. And the Moai, they're not looking at you. They're looking past you, at what's coming. Now, consider this. We've drilled deep into Earth. In Russia, in Germany, we hit unexpected heat. Not from the core, from hollow chambers or currents. What if Earth isn't solid? What if it's alive? And the ancients knew, so they built sentinels to keep watch. Not to worship, to warn us and contain it. You think I'm reaching, but look at the pattern. Teotihuacan, Stonehenge, non-metal, all on magnetic rifts. All abandoned suddenly, all whispering the same story. We built too close to the source, and it woke up. Now, back to you. Why does this matter today? Because we're drilling deeper, mining deeper, fracking deeper. What if we're repeating their mistake, poking the sleeping giant? Earthquakes are rising, magnetic poles are shifting. Is it climate, or is the planet resetting? The Moai were toppled long ago, but their bases remain. Still humming, still watching. And now, you can't unsee it. Every time you see a map, you'll see the triangle. Easter Island, Bermuda, Himalayas, the Earth's silent alarm system. But here's what no one tells you. There's a fourth point. Antarctica, the frozen vault. Radar shows pyramids under the ice, magnetic voids where compasses die. The triangle is actually a tetrahedron, a 3D grid around the planet. And we're standing inside it right now. You feel that? The air just got heavier. That's not fear, that's recognition. Your DNA remembers this, from before cities, before words. We were taught to look up for answers, but the truth is below. In the stone, in the silence, in the hum. Now, let's talk about you. Why are you here, watching this? Because you've always known something was off. The world feels thin, like a veil over something vast. And you're not crazy, you're awake. Most people scroll past mysteries, you lean in. That's not curiosity, that's duty. Because someone has to remember, someone has to listen. The ancients left the Moai for us, not for tourists, for you. They knew we'd come back when the hum grew loud again. And it is. Can you hear it? In power grids, in animal migrations, in your dreams. The planet is speaking. Are you ready to answer? Now, let's consider the unthinkable. What if the Moai aren't human? Not alien, not divine, but geological. What if they grew? Like crystals, like trees. The Rapa Nui say the statues walked at night. Science says impossible. But what if they didn't walk, they rose? From the rock itself, guided by Earth's pulse. And the people didn't carve them, they tended them. Like gardeners of stone, until they lost control. This sounds like fantasy, but check the geology. The island's rock is porous, it breathes with tides. Pressure builds, stone cracks, new forms emerge. Maybe the Moai are fossils of a living process, and we're the first in millennia to witness it stirring again. You're not just a viewer, you're a witness. And witnesses have a choice, look away or speak. Now, let's return to the triangle, Bermuda, Himalayas, Easter Island. Draw lines between them, you get a perfect equilateral triangle. Now, flip it through the Earth's core, you get another triangle upside down. One in the north, one in the south, balancing each other. This isn't geometry, it's a circuit. And we've been cutting the wires, with mines, with bombs, with greed. No wonder the planet is shaking, it's trying to heal. The Moai aren't relics, they're bandages on a wound. And we tore them off, now the infection spreads. You can feel it in the weather, in the wars, in the silence between heartbeats. This isn't doom, it's a call to remember, to rebuild the grid, not with stone but with respect. Because the Earth doesn't need saving, it needs listening. And you've been listening all along. Now, let's talk about what's next for you, for us. You can close this video and forget. Or you can lean in deeper ask harder questions. Visit a stone circle, stand on a mountain. Close your eyes and listen for the hum. It's there. It's always been there. Now, I have one final question, not for scientists, for you. If the Moai could speak today, what would they say? Stop digging, listen, remember. Or maybe just welcome back. Because you're not new here. You've been here before. In another life, another cycle, tending the stone. And now you're back just in time. The hum is rising. The grid is waking. Will you stand with the Moai or turn away? There's no middle ground. Silence is a choice too. Now, look at your hands, they're made of stardust and stone. You belong here, you always have. This isn't a mystery to solve, it's a homecoming. And the Moai, they've been waiting for you. Not as tourists, as kin. So I'll ask you now, with all honesty. What do you think they're guarding? Is it a power source, a portal, a memory? Or is it us, our connection to Earth? Drop your theory below, not for likes, for truth. Let's solve this together because the next chapter needs you. And if you're ready to go deeper, hit subscribe. We're just uncovering the first layer. The pattern is growing, and you're part of it. Stay curious, stay awake, and never stop listening to the stone. Silence, only ambient hum. What will you do now that you know?